Hey, what's up, DJ Mac? This is Mal P, and this is how I DJ. So I have a pretty basic tech setup. It's like the club standard. It's 4 CDJs and a V10 mixer, which I love, and then an RMX that I use for snare rolls and build-ups and noises and echoes. It's pretty basic, but it's everything I need. So yeah, that's the setup. So I'm about to show you how you use an a cappella over an instrumental track when you play.
Seems I can't deny. Some days just don't feel right. I think I feel much better at night. Seems I can't deny. Some days just don't feel right. I think I feel much better at night. Seems I can't deny. Some days just don't feel right. I think I feel much better at night. Seems I can't deny. Some days just pass me by. You know I feel much better at night. Scream for that.
Music, please.
If I have a song that has like an instrumental breakdown with no vocals, I might want to spice it up a little bit. Most of the time, I don't even look at the key. So I will match the BPMs, put the a cappella over it. And what you saw me do is like, I will fade out the song so much that it's like just the a cappella going to really like catch the attention of the crowd. And then in this particular a cappella, there was like a part where it's like super like hype, and I looped that part and turned the whole thing into a build-up. I used the RMX to do the snare roll and the noise. This particular transition or, you know, setup I've done a lot of times, and it always works. So I know this is like a moment where everybody puts their hands up into the air, and the drop will have a lot more impact. So that's what I did. I think I never bought CDJs. I just played on them when people asked me to play, and that was my practice. I just did the trial and error thing, and if like I messed something up in front of a crowd, that's what it was. I think I could teach anyone how to DJ in like 30 minutes, basically, but the real magic is like building your catalog and like finding the right songs and understanding the culture, and the power of like being a DJ is like showing people like I can do this with this, and oh, here's this song you've never heard before. So that's what I think was like the more important practice that I did. I'm gonna show you right now how to use the dub echo on here in combination with the reverb. use the effects that are on this side of the V10, and my favorite one in here is the dub echo, which has like a very particular time, or like a timing that you can choose, which will make it sound like there's a percussion thing going on in like 16th notes, so like, which you then can sort of automate into it going slower or faster. And that in combination with a reverb will make it sound like really nice and washed out, and you can create like your own sort of build up with it. You can even do it when there's like no build up in the actual song. So yeah, the setting is like, it's a little bit to the left of like 12 o'clock. It sounds like this. So you have to get it in time with like the BPM of the song for it to like really. So it's sort of like a feeling thing. It's not like a math thing really, because I suck at math. And this just, yeah, if you get the feeling right and you touch the knob the right way, then this will sound amazing. I just went to a lot of parties and clubs and festivals always, and I still do to this day, and I listen and I Shazam. So yeah. I'm about to show you a really great way to end your sets by using the master tempo and the tempo slider. In this loop that I created, you might find like a really nice tonal thing that's going on, something that has like, that's like doing an actual note. And if you use a lot of reverb and you go all the way down to like 0 or like close to 0, it'll just play that note like stretched out. And because the master tempo is on, it'll stay in the same key as the song. Because if I wouldn't do that, it'll just sound like this. And so if it is on, it will be. So that's the trick I try to do. And once again, this is like a feeling thing. I think 3 years ago, I went to see Solomon for the first time, and I was just in the crowd in Amsterdam. It was like a festival. He played for 2 or 3 hours, and after I understood, I was like, okay, I get it. I still go to a lot of his sets, and we're actually really good friends now. And he sees me like absorb his sort of techniques, and he's like, that's really cool that you like come here and you know, we show each other respect. He's like, I think one of the best DJs that has ever lived. Recently, I also started watching DJ Tennis. To me, what he's doing looks so effortless, and that's why it's also so cool. Like, there's no real facial expression, I think, for him, and he just DJs and plays a song and walks around, and you know, that's also the little swag that some DJs have. I feel like is really important to show the people in front of you, like the crowd, like, hey, I have this confidence and I'm about to take you on this journey. So I just hit 3 random songs that I know are pretty like techy and they have the same rhythm. Like I think they're like all straight. There's no like swing, so they'll be like nice and locked in. If I hear a loop or like a percussion thing that I like, I'll just loop it so I know like okay, it stays there and there's no crazy like vocals or build-ups coming in. I kept this song as like the main blueprint for whatever I was gonna do. So I could see right here on the waveforms, like this is where the bass and the kick were gonna hit, and there's like a nice build-up thing going on there. And I know these will stay in the loop, so I can always bring those back in or like take them away. And then the acapella we used before, I brought in too because it had a nice little thing going on that sounded cool within the key of like this whole loop. Once again, I used it as a build-up, like I just looped it on the one, and then I used the RMX to do the snare rolls and the noise, and of course there were some effects going on. I don't use beat sync, so the key here was to check if those 3 tracks were still in time with each other and like beat matched well. I choose one bass line and kick that I like, which was this one, and then for these it was just the mids and the highs, and for this the same thing. Definitely the lows are very important to take out because if I would just play all of these songs. Like that doesn't sound right. So the lows will always clash if you just like play 3 or 2 songs at the same time. But I also use this filter to make sure the bass line isn't like cutting through too much. One of the latest shows I did was in New York, and it was my own show for my own event series, which is called Baddest Behavior. And it was 8,500 people, and I played open to close. So it was like people that came just to see me, which to me is like really crazy. I really believe I killed it. So that's when I felt like, okay, I'm really in a nice pocket right now. I have my own style. The crowd was really good, like the vibes were amazing. So if you can feel that mutual love, then I feel like, okay, I'm succeeding, like I'm doing good as a DJ. RMX I use mostly for the snare and the clap. And I also always really like to use the noise. Which has sort of the same use, I think, as the acapella I just showed you. When there's a track that doesn't have a lot of effects, like there's not a lot going on, I'll bring in the noise, maybe sometimes the echo, which sounds like this. But it's not stuff that I can't do on here, so I'll just keep the sounds like the snares and the claps, and I'll do everything else on here because that's just how it works in my head. Because it's sometimes there's so much going on that before the drop I have to turn everything off again just to make sure you get like a clean sort of climax. Just the feeling of like mixing 2 tracks together and finding the right match, that's where it starts. So if you find that starting place, then you're good, you're going, I think.